School superintendent faces fraud charges for allegedly using own insurance to help ill student. An Indiana school superintendent who allegedly used her own insurance to help a sick student faces multiple charges, including insurance fraud. Casey Smitherman, superintendent of Elwood Community Schools in Elwood, Indiana, was booked on charges of insurance fraud, identity deception, and official misconduct on Wednesday, and later released on bail, according to court records. Smitherman says the charges come after she recently went to the home of a student who had missed school and saw he had symptoms of strep throat. After the student was refused treatment at a clinic, she took him to another one, this time saying he was her son. I am committed to this community and our students, and I regret if this action has undermined your trust in me. From the beginning, my ultimate goal has been to provide the best environment for Elwood students' growth physically, mentally, and academically, and I remain focused on that purpose. Smitherman had an amoxicillin prescription filled for her 13-year-old student in her son's name, the station reports, citing court documents. She told police that she was concerned about the student when he was not at school earlier this month, and she had previously helped him by buying clothes for him and helping to clean his home. A claim for the medical visit where the boy was diagnosed with a sore throat was valued at $233, the station reports, citing medical records. In a Wednesday statement, Smitherman says she plans to enter a diversion program which would allow for the dismissal of the charges if she avoids further arrests in the coming year. Smitherman has received support from the school board's president. Well, that's good at least. It's a crime to help people if it costs the for-profit insurance industry anything. It's not a crime for them to run their scam on this country. It's not a scam, or it's not a crime for them to price gouge consumers, for them to make healthcare inaccessible for people. That's not a crime. It's not a crime for them to deny people. I mean, well, I guess for a little bit it was, but I believe that's rolled back now. It's not a crime. It's not a crime for the pharmaceutical industry to price gouge drugs, to abuse patent laws to make drugs unaffordable, such as insulin and EpiPens, life-saving drugs that if people don't get them that have those conditions, they'll die. It's not illegal to make them go from a few dollars to over $700 in a day. That's not illegal. But it is illegal to use your insurance to help somebody when it's a student who's desperate. And in a problem that the richest country in the world should never, ever be in. Ever. So the way strep throat works, which I'm sure all of you know, but in case anyone does, the way strep throat works is it is a disease. Well, it's a thing you can get. So and it's bacteria, which means amoxicillin solves it. Now you need to get tested to know if it's strep throat or just a sore throat. You could just have a sore throat, and there is no cure for the common sore throat. You just got to kind of deal with it till it's over. I recommend a bowl of pho. That's the closest. I mean, dude, you get a bowl of pho, you throw some peppers up in there, that will drain the shit out of your sinuses. So that's what I recommend. And but there is no cure for the common sore throat. How do you know you might have strep? Well, if you don't have any other symptoms. If you have a cold along with the sore throat, chances are you just have a cold and sore throat. If you just have a sore throat and it really hurts and everything else is fine, you might have the infection that is strep throat. How do you know that? Well, you have to get tested. They take like a culture thing, like they swab. And I'm aware that people can make really goofy gifs out of the gestures I'm making right now. But, and that's how they determine it. So, in other words, this kid may have been in need of a prescription. The only way you would have found out if the kid needed a prescription would be to take him to a doctor. So it's not like she just was like, I'm going to get you a Z-Pack. Like, this kid needed to go to a doctor or he might not have gotten better. Because he had something that needed an antibiotic. And they weren't going to know that or not unless they took him and he got tested. You see what I'm saying? And I'm assuming because there was a prescription involved that he did have it. I'm assuming the culture came back positive. But if he was showing the symptoms, you'll never know unless you test. It's unbelievable that this is This is a crime in the United States, but our healthcare system isn't. And I hope this woman doesn't face any charges. I hope at the very least she receives support from the community. And I hope at the very least, she's able to enter that program where the charges are dropped. And it's really sad that something like this can happen in the United States. And this would never happen if we had the type of healthcare that all the other industrialized nations in the world take for granted. Something like this would never happen. All right. So that's kind of depressing, but uplifting in the sense that there are, some people out there that are willing to help, even if it means putting themselves in danger.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your